My Friend Irma is brought to you by Rave Home Permanent.
You really do get a softer, shinier, more natural curl.
Says Mary Martin, star of South Pacific. Mary Martin's the girl who's tried almost every home permanent there is. Take advantage of all her experience and get the softest, most natural, and prettiest wave you've ever had with Rave. And now, the VoiceOver Academy players and Rave Home Permanent presents My Friend Irma.
Well, it's Christmas Eve and things are looking pretty festive at our little apartment at 8224 West 73rd Street in New York City. All was serene and quiet except for my roommate Irma Peterson, who was reading.
"'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring."
Oh, look, Jane, a mouse.
No, don't get excited. It's lost. Probably looking for Professor Kropotkin's room.
"Oh, gee, Jane, I've never been so happy on Christmas Eve, and that's because I have such wonderful friends. You and your new boyfriend, Steve, Mrs. O'Reilly, Professor Kropotkin, and of course, Al."
Oh, yes, by all means, Al.
Of course, I can't really consider Al a friend because someday I'm going to marry him.
That's logical.
Oh, Jane, you don't know what it means to have a few good friends you can count on, especially on Christmas Eve, when you'd like to be with your family. But mine lives over 1,500 miles from here.
Irma, you never say much about your family.
Oh, Jane, there isn't much to say. They're just an average family, just like me. Perfectly normal people. For instance, there's Bertha Peterson, my younger sister. She's not as old as I am.
It figures.
Oh, and then there's my brother, Ernie Peterson. He's engaged to be married, of course.
Of course. What about your parents?
Oh, I miss them the most. They were just like a mother and father to me.
You know, that happens in most families, Irma.
But gee, they're all in Minnesota and I'm here. But I'm not lonesome because I'm surrounded by good friends. And Jane, I really appreciate them. That's why I'm giving a Christmas Eve surprise party tonight for you, Steve, Professor Kropotkin, Mrs. O'Reilly, and Al.
Tonight? Oh, Irma, honey, I don't know how to tell you.
Tell me what?
Well, dear, excuse me, honey. Hello? Oh, hello, Steve. What? Yes, I know it's formal. No, I've never been to the Copacabana. Yes, I'm terribly excited. It'll be our first Christmas Eve together since we were kids. I'll be ready. Goodbye, dear.
Jane, you mean you're going out tonight with Steve? Well, what about my Christmas Eve party?
But honey, you didn't say anything about it, and Steve invited me to a Christmas party at the Copacabana. I'd hate to miss it. All of his friends from show business will be there.
Well, this is Christmas Eve, and I thought tonight we'd be together. Christmas Eve isn't like other holidays, you know.
I realize that, honey, but
I could understand it if it was Independence Day. Then we wouldn't have to be together. We could be independent.
oh, Irma, I'm terribly sorry, but there's nothing I can do about it. Steve asked me last week. Anyway, my not being here shouldn't spoil your party. You'll still have Professor Kropotkin, Mrs. O'Reilly, and Al.
I understand, Jane. I still have the others.
Sure. Come in.
It's only me, Professor Kropotkin. How are my two little Christmas trees, huh? One fully grown and one a little sapling.
Why, Professor?
Oh, excuse me, it's a little Yuletide joke is all. By the way, girls, Merry Christmas to you both.
Merry Christmas to you, too.
Merry Christmas, Professor.
I hope you'll excuse me for coming down. I don't mean to interrupt, but I wasn't feeling so good. And when I don't feel so good, I rush out of my room as fast as I can.
Why?
I wouldn't be caught dead in that place. Well, girls, do you realize tonight's Christmas Eve?
Yes, and just look at that blanket of snow outside. Isn't it lovely?
Well, it's a matter of opinion. If Mrs. O'Reilly doesn't put glass back in windows, not only will I have a blanket of snow, but I'll have carpet of same material.
Irma, you'd better ask the professor about this evening before it's too late.
Oh, yes. Professor, will you come to my Christmas Eve party tonight?
Tonight? Oh, Irma, I'm so sorry.
You mean you can't come either?
Well, it can't be helped, Irma. Tonight, I'm playing my fiddle at the Gypsy Tea Room. I've been practicing all day.
Oh, that's terrible.
I know, but they pay me for it.
Gee, first Jane disappoints me, and now you.
Oh, look, honey, the professor can't help it. He's got to earn a living, and after all, you'll still have Mrs. O'Reilly and maybe the Martins upstairs, and of course, there's Al. Cheer up. 'Tis the season to be jolly, right? This will still be the best Christmas Eve ever. Come in.
Hello, everybody. Merry Christmas.
The same to you, Mrs. O'Reilly.
Merry Christmas.
Say, Mrs. O'Reilly, that's a beautiful wreath you've got on your door downstairs. Yeah, but that sign in the middle of it.
Oh, you don't like it?
Merry Christmas, lots of cheer. Remember the landlady, or you'll freeze next year. To me, it's not a sentimental thought.
Mrs. O'Reilly, I'm giving a big surprise Christmas Eve party tonight for you and Al. Will you come?
Tonight? Oh, Irma, darling, I'm so sorry.
You mean you're busy too?
Yes, the Martins have invited me to go to Jersey with them. And since they owe me 4 months back rent, I can't afford to let them get on the train by themselves.
Oh, this is just awful. First Jane turns me down, then the professor, and now you.
Maybe next year, Irma. Well, I've got to go, dearie. I've got to give myself a rap on permanent before I catch the train. And Merry Christmas and goodbye.
Oh, Jane.
Oh, sweetie, now stop crying. You should have told us about your party earlier. And besides, you bought some food, didn't you? Like cookies?
What do you mean? Of course I bought some food.
Then Al will show up. I'll guarantee it.
Oh, speaking of food, I think I'll go up to my room and have dinner.
Are you cooking, Professor?
No, it's just I take one look at that dump and I sit down and eat my heart out. Well, Merry Christmas, girls. And I'm so sorry, Irma.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry things turned out this way for you.
Well, that's all right, Jane. At least I found out who my friends are. I'm going to take a shower.
Sweetie, why don't you take a hot bath?
No, if I get in that much water and think of who my friends are, I'm liable to drown myself.
Come in. Ugh, Al.
Did I hear you say Al? Oh, Al, honey.
Chicky baby, Merry Christmas.
Merry, Merry, Merry Christmas to you, Al. Oh, I'm so glad to see you.
Same here, Chicky. Give me a great big kiss.
Sure, Al. Oh, Al, you're shivering. How did you get so cold?
I wanted to take the crosstown trolley, but with all the snow on the ground, it took me 4 hours to find a transfer.
Oh my goodness, look at the time. Steve's going to pick me up in an hour and I'm not even dressed yet. Aren't you going to take your top coat off, Al?
Thanks, Jane, but I'm not staying. Just came here to wish Chicky a Merry Christmas. I've got to be on my way. I've got a big deal brewing.
Oh, Al.
Chicky, it's important.
You and your deals.
Business is business, Chicky. I've got to be running along.
But I'll be left all alone on Christmas Eve. And Al, I depended on you, my own boyfriend.
Chicky, if I could only explain.
Don't bother. None of you must think very much of me if you can leave me alone on Christmas Eve. Fine friends I have. Goodbye.
How do you like that?
Al, of all the low-down, contemptible, good-for-nothing...
Hold it, Jane. I won't have you saying those things about the girl I love.
I'm not talking about Irma. I mean you. How could you desert her Christmas Eve of all nights? Me? I have to go out with Steve. But you're Irma's only boyfriend.
Jane, I love Irma. But when a man's in love, he's not responsible. He may do strange things he'd never do in his right mind.
What are you talking about?
Well, I went and got a job, like I promised.
You got a job? Al, have you been drinking?
I knew it would shock you, but I want to make a little dough and buy Chicky a present.
A present? What kind of present?
She wants one of those toasters that pops the bread up. My friend Mushy almost got one for me at a store, but at the wrong time the manager popped up, so I'll have to get it the hard way.
You mean you're going to work and break 5 years of tradition?
You know, when I was away from Chicky, I realized how much she meant to me, so now I'll do anything.
Listen, Al, the Christmas carolers.
Gee, that's so pretty. I'd like to stay, but I got the job tonight. Tell Irma I'll see her tomorrow. Goodbye.
It's me, Steve. Jane.
Jane? What's wrong, dollface? You sound terrible.
Oh, Steve, I can't go with you to the club.
Why not? Are you sick, Jane?
No, Steve, I'm all right. It's just that, well, Irma, you see, well, Irma hasn't any friends or relatives in New York, and this Christmas Eve, all our friends seem to be busy, and I just couldn't leave her alone, Steve.
Oh, I wouldn't want you to, honey.
Are you sure you mean that, Steve?
Oh, sure, honey. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye, and Merry Christmas, Jane.
Merry Christmas, Steve. Al, I thought you left.
I came back from my hat. Didn't mean to eavesdrop, Jane, but if you're willing to give up a good time tonight for Irma, I guess it's my duty to be with Chicky, too.
Oh, Al, that would be just wonderful. But what about the present you were going to get for Irma? If you don't work tonight, where will you get the money for it?
I'm gonna huck my watch.
But Al, that's the only thing you own. And you know that no matter how bad times have been, you always said you'd never hawk your watch.
Well, a man like me doesn't need a watch. I sleep all day, so time is not important, and at night it's too late to do anything.
Come in. Oh, it's you, Professor.
Oh, excuse me, Jane. I've been thinking about poor little Irma, and, well, I decided to give up job tonight so I could be with Irma.
But Professor, won't that cost you money? You get big tips during Christmas.
On Christmas Eve, it's not important to make money. It's important to be with friends. After all, what's money?
Well, it's pretty important.
I see you've been talking to Mrs. O'Reilly again. No, my little Irma has no father in New York, so tonight Professor Kropotkin will be her father.
Atta boy, Pop.
Listen now, the first chance I get, I'm disinheriting you.
Yoo-hoo! Excuse me, everybody. I took the liberty of walking in.
Why, Mrs. O'Reilly, your rave home permanent looks wonderful. But I thought you were on your way to New Jersey.
Oh, thank you, dearie. But I changed my mind. I got to thinking about poor little Irma being all alone tonight, and I just didn't have the heart to go. I'm going to stay here with Irma.
Isn't that wonderful? Professor Kropotkin just said that he's going to be her father.
Oh, I'll tell ya, if that's the case, I'll be her mother.
I've got news for you. If you're the mother, I'll be on next train to Reno in the morning.
Listen, everybody, I've got a wonderful idea. Irma was going to throw a surprise party for us. Now we'll throw one for her. We'll give her the best Christmas a girl ever had.
Ah, that's swell. I'll go out and hock my watch and buy the present.
I'll go get violin.
Come on, Janie, we'll start decorating. I got a lot of things in my apartment. Oh, it'll be such a nice Merry Christmas. Come on, Professor, take my arm.
A fair swap. She's been taking my blood all year.
Oh, wait until Irma finds out. She'll be the happiest girl in New York.
Next. Where to, miss?
Please, ma'am, what is the fare to Minneapolis?
Oh, $58 round trip.
$58? I only have 6. Where can I go for $6?
$6. Let me see. How about Niagara Falls?
Oh, I couldn't go to Niagara Falls. I'm not even married. I'll find some other place to go. Merry Christmas.
Oh, my aching feet. I've walked all over and I can't find a Christmas tree.
Did you see Irma anywhere in the neighborhood?
No, I didn't. But it's nothing to worry about. We just need to get the tree home before she gets back.
Tree, there's only one man who can help us.
Who, Al?
Who else but, hello, Joe, Al. Got a problem. I need a Christmas tree right away. What? I can get one at Macy's already trimmed for a dime? Oh. Uh-huh. Oh, the dime's for the glass cutter. The tree's in the window. No, Joe, this is Christmas Eve. When I hear jingle bells, I don't want them to be on a patrol wagon. What, Joe? You're playing Santa Claus tonight? Going down a chimney? Joe, this is quite a change for you, isn't it? Oh, you're going in with an empty bag and coming out with a full one. Well, Joe, nothing I can say except good luck and Merry Christmas.
Oh, Al, what are we going to do? It's getting so late, and it's getting chilly, and that must be Irma. Let's surprise her. Stand over there. Let's put out all the lights and give her a big kiss.
Come in.
Merry Christmas, honey. Mwah.
Here's one for me.
Oh, for pity's sakes, will someone please put on lights? It's only me. I've nearly been accosted by Mrs. O'Reilly.
We thought you were Irma, but we're not quite ready for her. We still need a tree.
I know this is a little unusual, but how about we buy one?
Nice gesture, Crop. We'll wait here for you.
Oh, Professor, you don't have to.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Jane. I saw several just down the way. Anything for my little Malishka, huh? I'll have one in a few minutes. Be right back.
And I'll get the cake out of the oven.
And I'll tell you when it's right. Hey, Jane, what are you crying about? The party's taking form.
Oh, I know. And it's so wonderful having everyone pitch in. The professor's getting a tree and all of you giving up things. Oh, this is the most wonderful Christmas I've ever had.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Everywhere you go.
Look, lady, this your third round trip on this ferry boat. Ain't you got a home? Ain't you got any friends?
No.
Well, take my advice. Make some.
Well, all right. I'll try. Thank you, and a Merry Christmas to you.
Hold it, folks. Look, lady, as choir director of the Ladies Auxiliary, we're Christmas carolers. We don't do this for a living, but we enjoy it. And we rehearse a great deal. We don't mind you joining us, but we like to have the sleigh come after the horse.
Well, I'm sorry.
Okay, folks, let's do it again. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride.
When the horse comes after the sleigh.
Oh, look, lady, would you mind running along?
Oh, all right. I was just lonely. Merry Christmas.
Oh, jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Pardon me, lady. Have you a dime for a cup of coffee?
Yes, poor man. And a Merry Christmas. Maybe you ought to have another dime for a donut.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, dear. I don't have any change.
Would you like me to break that 5 for you?
If you don't mind. Are you all alone in New York, too?
Oh, yes. How about you?
I'm from Minnesota.
Minnesota. How well I know that place. You know, you look very familiar.
I do? My name's Peterson.
Of course. You're Peterson's little daughter.
My father's name is George.
Let me think. Peterson. Say, that must be George Peterson.
How did you know?
Why, I remember you used to live in,
Minneapolis.
Let me see. George Peterson, Minneapolis. That's the place. Never forget a man.
Wow, it's so nice to meet old friends, especially when you're lonely. You can keep the $5, sir.
Oh, thank you. But this is only a loan. I'll return it the next time I see your father. Good old Fred Petersburg in Wisconsin. Goodbye.
Well, no, it's Peterson in Minnesota. Oh well. Have a Merry Christmas anyway.
Al, we've walked for miles. Perhaps we'd better go home and call the police to look for Irma.
Maybe you're right, Jane.
Pardon me, bud. Have you got a dime? Oh, Al, it's you. Got that quarter you owe me?
Bugsy, you got no character. How can you panhandle on Christmas Eve?
Great pickings tonight. Just got a fin from a blonde. Told her I knew her old man. Peterville or Peterson in Minnesota.
Peterson? Al?
Bugsy, which way did she go?
Cross town. You know her?
Why? What's the difference?
Well, I've been feeling like a crumb since I clipped her. Seemed like such a nice kid. Would you give her back this fin? Thanks. And Merry Christmas. Hey, bud, got a dime for a cup of coffee?
Come on, Al. Now I think it's time to call the police. I'm really getting panicky.
All right, Jane, I'm with you.
Look here, miss. I've seen the picture Mildred Pierce. Now, you're gonna need to get off this bridge.
I was just looking at the water, Mr. Watchman.
Look, miss, don't look down there. Everything that's beautiful is up here. It's Christmas Eve, you know.
Yes, I know. and I'm so lonely.
Oh, I get it. You're all alone, huh?
Yes,
Any friends?
yes, but my closest friends are far away.
Oh, now don't cry, honey. You're coming home with me. We haven't got much, but we're happy to share it.
Hey, Benny,
Yes, Sergeant.
do you happen to see a young lady out here? Say, you, over there, what's your name?
Irma Peterson.
That's all we want to know. Come along, sister.
I didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Didn't do what?
I don't know, but my boyfriend always says to say you didn't do it.
Now, look, Janie, we've got to be brave. Now it's up to the police. They'll find her. But we've got to take our minds off of it. Say, Mrs. O'Reilly, would you like to dance?
Oh, I'd love to.
Wonderful. I'll dance with her. I'll play my strings. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas.
How do you like that? I start playing and already neighbors got the police here.
No, it's a squad car pulling up. I think it's my chickie.
Al? You're right. It's Irma. The police have found her. Oh, she's coming up the steps. Quick, turn out the lights, everybody. Come on, we can still surprise her and have the party.
Come in, dearie.
Irma, darling. Mwah.
Surprise, chickie. Here's a big kiss for you.
And here's kiss from your father.
Why, Professor?
Quick, turn on the lights. I'm dying. I just kissed Mrs. O'Reilly.
Irma, darling. Merry Christmas. Where have you been?
You're all here. Well, I thought no one loved me. I felt so alone.
Oh, honey. Don't you know that people always spend Christmas Eve with their loved ones? And you're the one we love the most.
My sentiments.
Oh, bless my little Irma. You're like my own daughter.
Sure, chickie. I'd never leave you. I want to spend all my Christmas Eves with you.
Oh, this is the best Christmas a girl ever had, surrounded by her friends. Oh, it's midnight. Is that right, Al?
Wait a minute. I'll check my watch.
Al, why are you going to the window?
The watch happens to be across the street. You're right, chickie. It's 12 o'clock. Merry Christmas, chickie.
Merry Christmas, Al. And Merry Christmas, Professor Kropotkin, Mrs. O'Reilly, Jane, and all our friends. Merry, Merry Christmas.
And as for me, my sentiments are the same as those of my friend Irma.
What's really the hardest, trickiest part of your home permanent? Isn't it curling those short ends around your forehead and neck? Now, at last, that problem's licked. Yes, by an amazing little curler that's utterly different from any you've ever seen. It's the new Mary Martin Shortcut Curler. The famous star of South Pacific says,
It works like magic. Grips short ends, hugs them fast through every step of your rave home permanent. It's wonderful.
get your shortcut curlers now. This offer's made for a limited time only. Ask at your favorite drug or cosmetic counter for the special pack. 12 Mary Martin Shortcut Curlers, plus a rave home permanent refill. Only $1.29. And you'll be all the rave at your holiday party. And to all our listeners, Merry Christmas. This episode of My Friend Irma is produced and directed by Richard Durrington and stars Melrose as Irma and Evelyn McCauley as Jane. The part of Al is played by Mike Tarnow. Richard Durington is Professor Kropotkin, Steve, and the Watchman. Monique Tanguay is heard as Mrs. O'Reilly and the Ticket Taker. The Ferryboat Captain was voiced by Big Jim Lamance. Bugsy and the Sergeant is played by Ed Moscowitz. The Carolers, Merril and Mary Martin was played by Renee Najour Payne. Audio production was by Big Jim Lamance. I'm your announcer, Mike Tarnow, for the VoiceOver Academy players. Wishing all of you, from all of us, a very Merry Christmas.